Hello, and welcome to the Fast Book Pod channel, where you'll find the best book summaries. You'll watch book summaries just like watching a movie. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos for in-depth reviews of great books. Let's get to the book summaries.
Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels is one of literature's most brilliant and biting works of satire, blending fantasy and adventure to reveal the absurdities, hypocrisies, and follies of human society. The novel follows Lemuel Gulliver, an English ship's surgeon and sea traveler, who embarks on a series of incredible voyages that take him to lands beyond imagination, each journey exposing different facets of human nature, politics, science, and morality. The story begins with Gulliver's first voyage to Lilliput, a kingdom inhabited by tiny people barely 6 inches tall. After a shipwreck, Gulliver awakens to find himself tied down by hundreds of miniature ropes, surrounded by a curious nation of little men. At first, he is seen as a giant monster, but his gentle behavior earns the emperor's trust. Gulliver becomes a sort of national treasure, used to intimidate Lilliput's rival kingdom, Blefuscu. However, beneath the surface of this whimsical world, Swift reveals the pettiness of political conflicts. The Lilliputians' wars are absurdly fought over which end of an egg should be broken first, mocking the senselessness of human disputes over religion and ideology. Gulliver becomes a pawn in their court politics, praised one day and condemned the next. When he refuses to help Lilliput annihilate Blefuscu, he is accused of treason. Escaping across the sea, he finds refuge in Blefuscu and eventually discovers a way back home to England. Restless and curious, Gulliver soon sets out again, this time finding himself in the land of Brobdingnag, a country of giants where the roles are reversed. Now Gulliver is the tiny one, fragile and insignificant. He becomes a curiosity in the court of a kind but simple-minded giant queen. Through his experiences among the giants, Swift explores the relativity of power, pride, and perspective. Gulliver, who once felt superior to the Lilliputians, now feels small and helpless. The Brobdingnagians, despite their great size, possess a gentle morality that contrasts sharply with the cruelty and corruption of European civilization. When Gulliver proudly describes the political and military systems of England, the king of Brobdingnag is horrified, calling Europeans the most pernicious race of little odious vermin. This stings Gulliver's pride. But Swift's satire is aimed squarely at his readers. He forces us to see humanity through the eyes of a rational outsider. After several misadventures, including near-death encounters with animals and accidents, Gulliver is eventually carried off by a giant eagle and dropped into the sea, where he is rescued and brought back to England once again. Yet Gulliver's curiosity cannot rest. On his third voyage, he joins a ship bound for the East Indies, but soon finds himself caught in a storm and rescued by a flying island called Laputa, inhabited by absent-minded intellectuals, obsessed with music, mathematics, and astronomy, but unable to apply their knowledge to real life. The Laputans are so preoccupied with abstract thought that they must be physically reminded to pay attention to others. Servants literally flap bladders near their heads to keep them focused. Below, Laputa lies the land of Balnibarbi, where scientists waste years on impractical experiments such as extracting sunlight from cucumbers or building houses from the roof downward. Swift's satire here targets the misguided faith in reason and scientific progress divorced from common sense. Gulliver continues to explore this strange world, visiting Glubdubrib, the island of magicians, where he converses with ghosts of the dead such as Aristotle, Caesar, and Alexander the Great. Through these encounters, he learns that the glorious past is not as noble as history claims. Most great men were vain, corrupt, or foolish. He then travels to Brobdingnag, where he meets the Struldbrugs, immortal people cursed to live forever but continuing to age and decay endlessly, a chilling reflection on the human obsession with eternal life. Disillusioned but wiser, Gulliver finally returns home, only to feel once again the restlessness that drives him back to sea. His fourth and final voyage takes him to the most shocking and philosophically profound of all his destinations, the land of the Houyhnhnms, a society of intelligent, rational horses who live in harmony, guided by reason and truth. Serving them are the Yahoos, brutal, filthy, and irrational creatures who resemble humans. Gulliver, at first, is mistaken for a Yahoo, but his ability to speak and his manners earn him temporary acceptance among the Houyhnhnms. Over time, he comes to idolize their calm rationality and despise the violent, greedy nature of humankind. Living among these noble creatures, he begins to see humanity as hopelessly corrupt and animalistic. The Houyhnhnms society is simple, virtuous, and free of lies, greed, or war. They have no word for evil because they have no concept of it. Everything they do is governed by reason. Gulliver's transformation here is both psychological and tragic. He grows ashamed of his own species, declaring that humans are nothing more than the most pernicious race of little odious vermin. Eventually, the Houyhnhnms decide that Gulliver, as a Yahoo with unusual intelligence, does not belong among them. Forced to leave, he is heartbroken. When he returns to England, he can no longer bear the sight or smell of other humans. Even his family disgusts him. He spends his days conversing with horses in his stable, preferring their company to that of mankind. This final section of the novel, though extreme, captures Swift's deepest satire, that beneath our illusions of civilization and reason, humans remain driven by vanity, lust, pride, and greed. Gulliver's madness reflects the danger of rejecting humanity altogether. In seeking perfect reason, he loses compassion. Through Gulliver's 4 journeys, Swift constructs a mirror in which humanity sees its reflection, ridiculous, vain, and contradictory, yet also capable of reflection and change. The novel, beneath its layers of humor and fantasy, is a profound commentary on political power, human corruption, scientific arrogance, and moral blindness. Lilliput mocks petty politics. Brobdingnag exposes moral relativity. Laputa satirizes impractical intellectualism, and the Houyhnhnms hold up an impossible ideal of rational virtue. The shifting perspectives from tiny to gigantic, from foolish to wise, from human to inhuman, challenge readers to reconsider what it means to be civilized. Is reason enough to make us good? Is knowledge without morality truly progress? Are humans capable of self-awareness, or doomed to repeat their follies in miniature and in giant form alike? By the novel's end, Swift offers no comforting answers. Gulliver's voyages reveal not a world of enlightenment but a world of absurdity and contradiction. Humanity's greatest achievements are shown to be its greatest follies. Our pride, our politics, and our reason are weapons turned inward. Yet, within the satire lies a subtle compassion. Swift's hope that by laughing at ourselves, we might finally learn humility. Gulliver's Travels remains timeless because its mirror still reflects us today. Nations still fight over eggins, science still chases vanity projects, and humans still struggle to see beyond themselves. Thus, the adventures of Lemuel Gulliver, though fantastic, form a piercing portrait of the human condition, absurd, brilliant, cruel, and beautiful, all at once.
It was a very good book. Did you like it too? You can write your thoughts in the comments section. See you in the next summary.